You need more training.
Get the nigga nice.
You got a mental problem. He said he's gonna catch a body. Everything is recorded. Him right here. He said he's gonna catch a body out here. Everything live and recorded.
On August 23, 2020, police
Me
officers
with the
on
stick.
patrol
What
in
that mean?
Chicago made the abrupt decision to detain a young man by the name of Leroy Kennedy. One moment Leroy was going about his day, and the next he was being tackled, his face ground into the pavement. He was resisting arrest, officers would later inform him. But the original reason they stopped him seemed to mystify everyone, including the officers themselves, who seemed intent on behaving unprofessionally throughout the encounter. Right away, we're situated in the middle of a chaotic scene fueled by an incensed mob. They've just witnessed a violent incident instigated by the police themselves.
Hey, no, chill out. You got we'll roll your about there. We'll roll your we just you. Take the come on, we'll roll your you just busted. Okay, you just busted. You playing, bro. You playing, bro. You playing, bro. You playing. We let him you. Let him go for y'all. Helping you. Take it out. Helping you. You just this face up like this. Man, you just this face up. That you stand on that bitch. She was trying to fight me. Man, you was trying to fight them. God, you touching me for no reason, bro. I ain't got shit on you, bro. I ain't take off running. I walked off. I ain't run. I walked off. I'm out here. Criminal. Stop pushing him, bro. I'm gonna get some medical attention over there.
You might expect that once Leroy is in the back of the squad
I
car,
ain't gonna lie. If you can't control your emotions as a police officer, you don't need to be a police officer. You feel me? And y'all started the whole situation. All they asked need to be fired. And all the good cops that was, all the so-called good cops that was there, and watch the cop that was bad do the bad shit, fired.
his defenders will disperse. However, this seems to have the exact
Fired.
opposite effect.
Bro, back up.
Look at him, hand hurting, head bleeding. Man, oh hell no. Hell no, fired, nigga. What the fuck? How the fuck, man? Let's keep watching, man.
The chaotic scene has quickly evolved to what appears to be a standoff between officers and civilians. The officer, having put his hands around Leroy's neck and having thrown him to the ground, definitely doesn't appear to have been warranted. While exercising force against a fleeing suspect is allowed, so long as the force is reasonable under the circumstances, Leroy didn't appear to have been a fleeing suspect. He also didn't appear to have been resisting, nor did it seem he had any weapons on his person. There must be specific, articulable facts to support the exercise of force, and here we aren't seeing any.
I ain't see Nathan, Nathaniel. That's a they can take him to jail for that, but they don't want to take him to jail for that. Get that nigga medical attention.
It also doesn't help that more police are joining the scene by the minute. It's hard to say who's most upset, Leroy, the crowd, or the police. One of the officers who participated in the arrest appears to be particularly agitated and takes it out on the crowd.
Fired.
Take that 140-pound ass. 140 pounds. Hold on with your homies. Come to you. Take that. Yeah. He wasn't like that when he was just out here. He was not like that. He was not like that. He said That's all that fuck, bro. Ain't nobody trying to intimidate you.
I appreciate you guys. Stay right there, that's fine.
Ain't nobody trying to intimidate you, bro. Why you getting all tough and down like that?
Sticks and
All the
you
people
picking up sticks and pussy ass motherfucker. Thank you.
That man was not like that, bro.
The thing is, that's why I say it ain't no such thing as good cops. They all bad. If it was a good cop out there, we would have been seeing body cam footage of the nigga trying to see what started this whole situation, breaking it down like they do every other case. Every other violent battery case, whatever you want to call it, gang, they gonna see what happened first, gang. You feel me? I ain't seeing none of that. That's how you know they in a fault. They in the wrong too.
Buddy was coming up behind him, okay? Trying to pull him away. It's on camera. It's on camera.
He getting mad. Look at him. Look, he getting mad because he's trying to explain himself, but they ain't trying to hear it. They already seen what happened. Now you getting mad because ain't nobody trying to hear your lane.
What's the issue? You need more training.
I need more training.
You need safety back. You got a mental problem. He said he's gonna catch a body. Everything recorded. Him right here. He said he gonna catch a body out here. Everything
He came up to me with a stick.
Straight home. You clipped him, bro. Take that him, bro. Take that him, bro.
Jeffrey came up to him with a stick.
I'll catch a body today.
You might think you misheard the officer, but he did in fact say that he was looking to catch a body, and as he continuously points out to the crowd, it's all on video.
You picked up a bag. It's on camera.
He definitely picked up a stick and walked towards him, but he wasn't close enough to even if he swung that stick to hit nobody besides the 3-4 people that were standing in between them.
I did. I will.
So anything that happened after that,
Everything has gotten out of
Let me see
hand,
the full.
and the officer needs
I wanna
to
see the
quickly
full
separate Leroy from the scene.
altercation.
Considering the number of members of law enforcement who've responded to the scene, at least 1 to 2 should be making efforts to de-escalate the situation and to calm the civilians. However, what we've seen isn't consistent with this. At this point, it's clear that the officers have lost control of the situation. Irate civilians have surrounded the cruiser, and Leroy should have already been transported away from the scene.
You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't.
Instead, they sitting here arguing. Like,
I'm intimidated.
yeah, I've been said fuck the protocol, nigga. Fire all they ass.
The situation is now completely out of control. Officers are behaving unprofessionally.
And
which
the injury to the
tarnishes
head where you bleeding is that's a serious injury. You like 9 times out of 10 you have to get checked out from a head injury. You hear me?
law enforcement badge. While they should never
That nigga
let
still
their
on the scene.
emotions be seen, their anger has gotten the best of them. The civilians have a right to challenge authority, and the officers have no right to speak to the civilians the way they are, including
bro.
the name-calling and threatening to lock them up as you just witnessed. As the police car begins to pull away, the officer continues shouting insults out the window.
Make more than you, bro. Running. Remind me to take this.
Still mad. Mad ass nigga.
I got you, okay? I got you. We got
Need that badge gone.
And nobody gonna treat you badly. I'm gonna get you water and everything, okay?
But based on the police treatment Leroy has experienced so far, though, these promises likely don't mean much. Back where the crowd is gathered, several bystanders attempt to explain how the situation has played out so far. The response they get
And the thing is, in situations like this, when they don't have no witnesses but the people that was out there, whose side y'all think the people gonna take? And it's not even really about that. You feel me? It's just the simple fact that they have to listen to what they said happened. And once they hear they started the situation,
It
watch
is
how they act.
lackluster at best, if not outright dismissive.
Watch what they do.
His sister, man. Put their hand on him. He jumped out. He grabbed him. He didn't try to get aggressive with him. He picked him up and slammed him, man. On who? On the guy in the car.
The officer, when
The black
the
officer
gentleman
picked
told
him
him
up.
to not touch him, the officer got mad and
Black
choked him.
officer.
Yeah, he
And then
choked him.
he tried.
What is we doing, gang? He dead ass choke slammed this nigga, gang.
To not touch him, the officer got mad and choked him.
Choke slammed the nigga.
Yeah, he
And then
choked him.
he tried to resist. The officer took him and slammed him on the ground.
He wasn't doing nothing
Why
wrong.
did the police officer get out of the car?
We have no idea. They
Told me
parked
to
right
sit right
here.
here.
They parked right here. They were sitting down right here. He started walking towards them. The gentleman got up and started walking away.
Yeah, 'cause
I guess he didn't want no problem. They never found nothing wrong. He wasn't doing anything wrong. The black officer tried to corner him off, ran and chased him and blocked him off. He said, "Man, I ain't did nothing. Don't touch me." The officer grabbed him and started choking him.
I saw it. All right.
My suggestion is, if you want to make a complaint, you can call COFA.
Come on, bro. Like, come on, what I say, bro? If you want to make a complaint, you could call COPA.
But obviously, I mean, it looks like the guy's under arrest for something.
What that something is remains to be seen. An officer needs to take charge of the situation and give the disgruntled witnesses a voice. They need for someone to listen and to feel they've been heard. They should be given the option to fill out statements and potentially compose formal complaints. Even if the complaints don't move forward, perception is everything, even so much as giving the witnesses business cards as a way to build trust. For now, officers clear the original scene and arrange to meet EMS at a more controlled location. However, not all of the officers go quietly, fanning the flames of unrest before leaving the area.
Oh, we come out thick. That's how we do.
These niggas is gang members. That's what Chicago police is, gang members, cuz. He said, oh yeah, that's what we do. We come out thick. And then get to
I'm just talking about thick. That's how we do.
Fanning the flames of unrest before leaving the area.
Oh, we
Bro.
come out thick. That's how we do. I'm just talking to the community, bro. That's it. I still love you, though. I still love you. I love you, Papa.
They need to take you. All right, let's go.
Oh, we come out thick. That's what we do. So dang,
Just a
man.
few blocks away, one of the officers waiting for EMTs to assess Leroy finally thinks to ask a rather important question.
We jumped.
What y'all get him for? What y'all arrested for?
What's he arrested for?
They instantly start fighting.
But you don't know what he arrested for? Be arrested for? Hey, no, hey, see my face? Do you see my face?
As we saw in the arrest,
What he arrested for? I'm trying to hear what he. Hey, hold on. I ain't had my other headphone on right. You feel me? It was back here. Let me put them on so I can make sure I heard it right, folks.
to ask a rather important question.
We jumped.
What y'all get him for? What y'all arrested for?
What's he arrested for?
They instantly start fighting.
But you don't know what he arrested for? Be arrested for? Hey, no, hey, see my face? Do
Do you see my face?
As we saw in the arrest footage, this isn't exactly true. It seems that the police are getting creative. Police chased Leroy down, and it was only after they laid hands on him that he began to flail.
They started grabbing on Razor as soon as we walked up, grabbing his back, grabbing the back of his vest, pulling him away. We didn't even say
This claim may be true.
Now y'all sat there and did all that arguing with that crowd of people. No reason for arrest. And y'all started the whole situation. Nor did y'all get the officers that was involved in the situation and put them in the back of a police car. You feel me? Because they both of them needed to be in the back of a police car, how they was acting, talking to the cells. You feel me? Like, come on, gang. Come on. Now they gotta make a complaint to the corporation.
Conflict once again flares between Leroy and the officers.
To cope with whatever the fuck it is.
Mess. Even rookies are taught not to engage with a yelling detainee. While it would go a long way in the court of public opinion and among a jury when footage shows officers not engaging, this particular officer opens the door to the cruiser and confronts Leroy. His act is clearly unprofessional. In addition, the backwards worn baseball hat wouldn't be a standard issued uniform item. Police already saw that Leroy
He's still
had
not
fun.
doing nothing. He's still not doing nothing. Y'all picking on this nigga, gang. Y'all picking on this nigga. Literally, y'all making this nigga feel like a bitch right now. If that nigga come back and want to slide on all y'all ass, he won't be wrong. On God, y'all played this man for like a bitch in front of a hell of people. What the fuck? On God.
During
On God,
the
he not
arrest,
wrong.
the search, and when they initially placed him in the car.
I had to make sure the camera was right. My fault.
Yeah.
Harry, ring the rep, yo, Robinson on Long Clark. What else they got home? I'm gonna get all you. Watch this.
Soon,
Oh,
EMTs
bro,
arrive to
great.
tend to Leroy's injuries. He's escorted out of the police car and into the ambulance while police decide who will accompany him to the hospital.
This whole situation is bad, gang. Literally. You feel me? Cause how is the cop that was involved in the situation in the back of an ambulance with him, gang? Just them two. How?
Before getting underway, police take the opportunity to search Leroy again, but nothing incriminating has appeared in his pockets since the last time they checked. With that out of the way, they can finally head to the hospital.
I still ain't hear those Miranda rights.
Leroy was treated for injuries to his hands and wrists. There were also concerns about a concussion due to the force with which Leroy's head hit the pavement. While he has recovered physically, he's since come forward to say the encounter left him traumatized.
I don't understand why you still up.
What's up?
Why you still up?
Why am I still what?
Why the you still up?
Why am I still what?
You heard what I said.
It's a good question because you've certainly noticed Leroy still hasn't been told why
He's
he's under
under
arrest. While the United States Supreme Court has held that it's good police practice to tell a suspect why they're being arrested when taken into custody, the Supreme Court has found no constitutional requirement to do so. Very few states statutorily require this in the United
You know, shit like this why motherfuckers don't respect the government or whatever you want to call it in the first place. Because how the fuck you gonna take me to jail and not tell me why the fuck I'm going to jail? What the hell?
United States. It's an exception far from the norm.
Patel 1129.
Damn sure gonna know. My lawyer come holler at y'all, you damn sure gonna know.
Cool.
Damn sure finna get y'all cool.
Alright, that's good.
Like, damn sure finna get y'all cool. But tour,
Best of luck to you, buddy.
1829.
Best
Good luck.
All they asked for 5.
You just got 200 down for the same. You got good luck. Why you grabbing me like that? Why you grabbing me for though? I don't get why he touching me, bro.
When Leroy's arrest came under investigation, it seemed police had very little to say for themselves by way of explanation.
All right. We'll put everybody else as offenders that grabbed you. You know, we'll do that on the case report. We'll start head on. Yeah, description or whatever. We'll get the camera. All right, head on in.
It's clear that the sergeant is aware the situation has been botched. The story officer settled on was that Leroy looked directly at the officers as they drove by, widened his eyes, and then walked away. It appears that Leroy was violently arrested for the serious crime of looking surprised. The official report went on to mention that police suspected Leroy might have had
Never become a
gun
crime.
when he reached for his pocket, but as they later discovered, all he could have been reaching for was his phone or glasses. It seems the real reason Leroy was stopped was simply a case of bullying or misuse of power. Leroy was charged with resisting arrest and aggravated assault against a peace officer. All charges were dropped a few months later, thanks to the body camera footage which proved Leroy was not the instigator. Leroy proceeded to sue the City of Chicago Police Department for personal damages, as well as to ensure this sort of situation doesn't happen again. He was ultimately awarded $195,000.
200K, shit, that's close to 200K. He said something about 200K in the back of the ambulance truck on, bro.
Have been handled.
We got 195.
While police training has progressed over the years, it must continue to evolve and grow with the times. De-escalation, implicit bias, and wellness of law enforcement officers are a few of the mandatory training programs officers must complete. In addition, they're now educated on reporting misconduct they see other officers committing. While officers like these should be a thing of the past, we still have a long distance ahead, evidenced by what
What the fuck happened to the officers? I know he was rewarded, whatever the fuck you wanna call it, 195. You feel me? Not dollars, but 195K, right? But what happened to the officers? Especially the two that was really involved. This dude right here on the far left. What happened to him? Huh?
we just witnessed.
What happened to him? What happened to him, man?